Hello everybody, this is Frowny13 and welcome to a live stream. Yes, we're talking about stuff. Let's see if my make sure microphone's working. And yes, it is. Everything sounds fine. Alrighty then. So yes, welcome indeed. And yes, this is an episode of the Frowny13 Talkshow. Before running, why am I just using still image on my webcam? I was planning to use my webcam for this live stream, but it doesn't work for some reason. Yeah, I tried plugging it in, I tried diagnosing the problem, I just couldn't do it. So that's probably some deeper issue that I'm gonna have to look into, but I do not have the time to do that today because I'm literally doing this all last minute because I have had a very, very busy week actually. A lot of stuff going on this week. Not just to do with Train Sim World, but to do with other stuff. You know, we got the Evade Liberty finally in revenue service. As well as some other stuff I'm working in the background as well. But, yeah, I've just had a very busy week. So, yeah, I had to sort of just couple everything together last minute to do this live stream. And also, yeah, I forgot to do things because, yeah, I have not done a live stream in months at this point. Yeah, we're now in late August. And here we are doing my first live stream of 2025. Again, it hasn't just been a busy week, though. This has been a really busy year. I don't know. I want to do more live streams this year, but I just haven't had the time to. I've just been so busy with I'm so preoccupied with other things, but yeah. But here we are today. I've always planned to do this live stream, but yeah, here we are today, doing it today, because today we are talking all about Train Sim World the 6th, as well as many other post-launch stuff that was just announced just this past week in the roadmap streams, the Dove Direct, and all the stuff. So yeah, yeah, like I said, I've had a really busy week. Just earlier today, actually, I went over to Bravo Station to catch my first ever Amtrak Next Gen Acela in revenue earning service. Yeah, that was a surreal experience, but yeah, I can't believe it. 9 years ago was when the Avalia was first announced, and now here they are, finally, the awesome Avalia Liberties, the Next Gen Acelas are finally in revenue earning service. So I figured I would celebrate by going down to Providence and catching one. And for that reason, I'm actually a little bit late getting to the roadmap, because I did watch the entirety of the roadmap live stream that Dove just did a couple hours ago, actually. I watched the whole thing, so I just wrote down some notes and everything and stuff. I've also watched the Dove Direct stream, and I've read through both parts of the roadmap, so we have a lot, and I mean a lot of stuff to cover in this live stream. Like I said, I wish I could emote better, you know. Again, I was going to use my webcam for this live stream, but I don't know what's going on with it, but it just won't work, so sorry guys, we're going to just deal with this still image, which actually me remember from way back in 2018, actually, was actually when I first started using this still image, because I actually created this image actually even before that for use in some videos all the way back in 2017. So yeah, this is a really old image. I've thought about making a new one, but I'm too lazy. And like I said, I was going to use the webcam for this stream. Again, doesn't work, so you're going to have to deal with this still image for today. Alright, anyways, so far nobody except for the idiot ferryman, and actually, Alstom actually did a very good thing. Okay, fine. To be fair, the Alstom set that I actually saw today actually had, say, a bit of a faulty door mechanism, so now it's actually been shopped over in Boston, so yeah, they're gonna have another set to fill in for that. So, yep, brand new trains, and, well, they still have faults even despite going through development, or testing hell for the last 4 years, or 5 years, 2020, so yeah, it's been a long while. Yeah, like I said, it's been a very busy week for me. you may be wondering, why is this the first live stream we've done in 2025? Why haven't, because I usually do live streams earlier on in the year than this. But again, I just had a really busy year. You know, I'm going to be real with you. 2025 has been a rather difficult year for me, actually. I haven't really been able to have fun much this year. I've just been so dedicated to try to find ways to make money online because, as I mentioned way back in May, my financial situation is not good right now. So I've been trying to find ways to reverse that by making money online. Still haven't figured it out, though. I do have a affiliate marketing ad campaign currently up and running, but so far I haven't made any commissions. So I don't know how that's going to go. But maybe I'll update you guys with that soon enough. Alright, anyways, that is enough of rambling. Let's get on to Train Sim World the 6. Train Sim World 666. Yep, sadly, Train Sim World 5 is dead. Yep, Train Sim World 5, well, okay, it's not dead yet. There's still a month to go yet until Train Sim World 6 comes out. So, yeah, but for now, Train Sim World 5 is over, or as I like to call it, Train Sim World 5! And yes, I've been making that joke 2 more times, actually, because I got 2 more Train Sim World 5 videos planned, and then after that, Train Sim World 6 will be in full swing. Alright, then. Let's drink some water here. Alright, anyways, let's get into it. So, Train Sim World 6, let's start off by talking about the core routes that will be coming in Train Sim World 6. Starting off with the German side of things, the Leipzig to Dresden route. Yes, this is a route that kind of surprised me, actually. They don't do extensions very often for Train Sim World, but here we are. We have a new route extension. So, not a completely brand new route, but a extension of route that we already had in the game. More specifically, this is an extension of the recent to Dresden route, or also known as Navigator Dresden, which came out quite a few years ago, actually, all the way back in the Train Sim World 2 era, back in 2020. I actually remember very well when they announced the whole Rush Hour bundle thing. I thought that was actually really cool. So, yeah. So they released that route back in 2021. Then that route actually got upgraded in 2023 to coincide with the launch of Train Sim World 4, and now it's been extended all the way to Leipzig, which I just find this to be very interesting because the same thing actually happened over in Train Sim Classic, where in TS Classic they first came out with the recent to Dresden route, and then for Train Sim Classic 2022 edition, they then released the Leipzig extension for that route. So, kind of a repeat of history, but this time in Train Sim World, and you know what? I welcome it because I haven't driven the Leipzig to recent route or Leipzig to Dresden route much in Train Sim Classic, but for the short times I have driven it, is a pretty fun route to drive. In fact, I'm probably going to do some more drives on the Train Sim Classic version of this route, maybe over the coming weeks, just to sort of get a feel for it and know what to expect with the Train Sim World version. And yeah, this is actually the 4th time, technically, that a Train Sim World route has been extended, because technically, the original recent Dresden route was also extended at one point. Actually, soon after it was released, they released the Meissen branch extension, which was actually a free update that they just added onto that route, so that was pretty neat. And then for Train Sim World 3 in 2022, they came up with the Southeastern High Speed Extended, which they took the previously released Southeastern High Speed route, and they extended the High Speed one to Ashford, and they also extended the Chatham Main Line to Dartford. And this also happened again last year with the Long Island Railroad commuter route, where they added the Long Beach line onto that route. I personally think they should have just done either the route to Huntington or the route to Ronkonkoma, make the line to Hicksville a bit longer. But of course, they said that they would just complete separate branch of the route, but whatever. So this actually marks the 4th time in Train Sim World history that a route has been extended, which, to be honest, if these route extensions are going to be a regular thing going forward, I actually do like the idea of that, because the thing is with a lot of these Train Sim World routes is that they're good concepts, but they would have been so much better if they were just made longer. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many routes I could point out Train Sim World that could have benefited from just being a longer route. So I think they don't do these extensions very often, but again, I would say that whenever they do these extensions, I actually do welcome it, actually, which is yeah, pretty neat. So what is the road like then? Well, it is long and pretty fast as well. In fact, I think once you get past Riesa and you get onto the line to Dresden, that's actually when the route gets really fast. I think you can do some 200 km/h running on that section. Again, I need to refresh my memory on this route because I haven't driven it in a long time, but yeah, you will be able to do some high-speed running. This also comes with the addition, a slight extension, but in the south actually, of Dresden-Friedrichstadt. So, all the way in the south, you have the Dresden main station, and then right behind it, you have the Dresden-Friedrichstadt station. But right next to it, there's like a huge freight yard, so I'm guessing that's going to introduce a lot of new service potential, which, again, I welcome. You know, more gameplay, the better. So, yeah. So, overall, the route itself is actually very cool, and I'm very much looking forward to checking it out. In terms of the rolling stock, though, I will admit things are a little bit on the on the disappointing side. So, coming with the road, we have the BR411 ICET, which you already had last year with Frankfurter Fulda, although this time it's a slightly different livery because you have green on the front end. They also mentioned, though, they did some improvement with the sounds of the ICT, which I hope they did, because I actually thought the sounds on the ICET from last year was actually pretty good. It was just the horn. I thought the horn of the ICT was just terrible. So I'm hoping maybe they redid the horn on it, although something I found out actually recently was that there was also an ICET sound pack mod for the Frankfurt Fulda ICT. I haven't tried that one out. Maybe I will at some point, but although that being said, I will wait and see how the ICT is in this new Leipzig to Dresden version. Extra noise? No. Okay, I got my headphones on, even though I don't really need to have my headphones on, but I'm just having them on anyway, just for simplicity's sake. In terms of the new stuff, we also have the BR442 Talent 2, a train that's been reused a few times now. We also have the BR146 with double slot coaches, one of the most overused trains in Train Sim World. I don't even know how many routes at this point they've reused the double slot coaches, but yeah, we got the double slot coaches for the millionth time at this point. Also with the BR146, which is also a pretty reused thing. And we also have the BR185 supplied with freight equipment, which is again also not a new. In fact, has been yeah, actually, I'm gonna take off my headphones because my headphones are a little bit clankly. So, yeah. Oh, that's weird. Now I gotta get used to. Yeah, I have noise canceling headphones, and now I've just taken them off, and now my voice sounds a little bit different. So I gotta get used to it. Anyway, so like I said, we have all these new trains. Okay, actually, no, I'm gonna put the headphones back on because I'm already losing my mind here. So yeah, if you hear my headphones make a little bit of noise, that's why. You don't usually hear it when I'm doing gameplay videos because usually there's like audio that's coming from the game. But of course, I'm not playing a game at the moment. I'm just talking to a microphone. So yeah. Anyways, anyways, like I said, BR411 ICT, Talent 2, 146, double slot coaches, and 185 with freight will be the trains that will be included with the Dresden to Leipzig route. Again, all stuff though that's been like reused. Sadly there are no new trains included with the route itself. Nothing new. It's all reused stock, which I think Dovetail are now starting to. I spin my computer desk. I think Dovetail are gonna start doing this a bit more often though. Unfortunately, with the German routes, because they did the same thing with the Mannheim to Kaiserslautern route that came out earlier this year, where there was absolutely no new trains in that route whatsoever. It was all reused rolling stock, which I found to be very disappointing. And even the route itself was rather unremarkable. You know, I was like, what was even the point of that add-on other than probably just filler? They're like, I mean, they were probably like, right, we want to make a German route, but we don't want anything that's too difficult. So how about we make a German route, which is rather simple, doesn't really do anything remarkable, and we just have all reused rolling stock. Yeah. Now, I will say this. At least Leipzig to Dresden is actually going to be a really interesting route, like I said, because it's an extension of the route that we already got. And I actually really enjoyed playing on the Dresden to Dresden route. I really enjoyed playing that route when that first came out for Train Sim World 2 way back. I haven't played that much recently, although I did do a video on it, though, last year when I drove the Rail Vectron. So, yeah. So it's a fun route made even longer. So, again, the rolling stock is disappointing, but the route itself, I will say, is very good. I'm very much looking forward to checking it out. So, yeah. Now you may be thinking, well, this is an extension of a route that we already had in the game, so what's that going to entail? What about us who got the recent Dresden route? Well, okay, for those who already have the recent Dresden route, there's really not much to say, actually. It's just, you just get the Leipzig to, Leipzig to Dresden route. However, if you do not have the recent Dresden route, you will actually get entitlement to that route if you decide to get Leipzig to Dresden. So, yeah, so basically, if you get Leipzig Dresden, you will get Recent to Dresden included with it for free as like a free extra. So you have a little bit more gameplay content there if you want to just do some stuff from Recent to Dresden. This will also introduce some more trains as well, because you get those trains as well. You get the BR143, the BR363 Shunter, and the MRC BR185. So yeah, you get those as extra trains as well, which aren't in the Recent to Dresden route. So yeah. And like I said, there's a lot of trackage as well, so I would say despite the fact there are no new trains, I was still saying I am looking forward to this route because, again, it's a long route, a lot of stuff going on in it, and overall I am looking forward to it. There you are, Russell, you're a bit late, but like I'm just talking about the first route. And yes, I just talked to time, and like I said, in case you're wondering why I'm using this still image on my webcam does not work for some reason, so a bit of a throwback to actually how I used to do these talk show streams, so yeah. Alrighty then. But yeah, like I said, no new trains with this thing. There you go. And yeah, the Sven Coach's face is outdated. I don't know. I've just been too lazy. Like, I probably should update this image at some point. But again, I wasn't planning on using it today, though. I was going to use my webcam, but whatever. We're using the still image because that's all I have available at my disposal at this point. Anyway, so back to Recent Dresden. So that's all the trains then. In terms of layers, I would expect there to be a BR 101 layer. It's gonna make Kubi excited. But yeah, BR 101 will probably layer into it. I actually really enjoy the 101, so yeah, hopefully that gets layered in. So there you go. And now for the deluxe train, because yeah, they unveiled they unveiled 3 routes and 3 deluxe trains to go with them. So the deluxe train for recent Dresden is the BR294 Shunter. Yeah, now, I will admit, when they first revealed this one, I was a little bit like, oh, it's a shunting engine. Yeah, because to be honest with you, I don't really care for shunting engines. I'm sorry, but shunting is just not my cup of tea. But we're getting one anyway in the deluxe pack. Yeah, so the BR294, and the funny thing is, even when I first saw this shunting, I was like, hold up, don't we already have the 294 Shunter in Train Sim World? And no, we don't. But we do have an engine that's quite similar to it, though, which is the BR204 Shunter. So then we're getting another 294 Shunter in Train Sim World. So yeah. To be honest with you, I don't really care much for the 294. I will play it. I will try it out, obviously, but it's not going to be something I come back to very often. So, yeah. So, like I said, in terms of the trains with the German side of things, it's pretty weak this year, because last year we had the ICT and the Flex Train Vector. I thought those were really cool. This year, nothing new on the route, and only and a deluxe train, which is just kind of... it's there, I guess. It's there. And, yeah. Alright, well, that's all to say in regarding to the German route. So... Alright, up next to the UK side of things, and here things are a little bit more promising. So, for the British route with here, it is the Riviera line from Exeter to Paignton and Plymouth. Yeah, so it's another remake of a route from Train Sim Classic, although, actually, it's a bit weird, because Dove2 initially made the Riviera line from Exeter to Paignton for Train Sim Classic way back in, like, 2013, and then Just Trains actually made the South Devon main line, from, Plymouth all the way up to somewhere beyond Exeter. I'm not too sure. I might have to try that route as well. Yeah, so Riviera from Exeter to Plymouth. So this route features the South Devon main line from Exeter to Plymouth, and also, of course, comes with the branch to Paignton. So when you get to Newton Abbot, the route actually splits off. You have the South Devon main line to Plymouth, and then you have the branch line which goes to Paignton. So you have that going on. As far as the route itself, it's very windy, not very many straights. So yeah, it's a very curvy route. So I'm not sure what kind of speed we can expect. I don't know if it's going to be like a high speed or medium speed or slow speed route. Again, I should probably play the route over in Train Sim Classic to get a feel for it. But I will say this, it is a very pretty route. Of course, it's right next to the Dawlish Sea, so there's a lot of waves, if you can see. It's actually a very nice route. If you take a look at all the screenshots that come up with this route, they actually, yeah, the route's actually a really good looking route. So, yeah, I feel this is basically like a more scenic route. Which I'm okay with, you know. The Severing Bond was actually similar to this in a sense, although Severing Bond ran through the mountains, whereas this runs right next to a seawall. So yeah, because it's probably going to be a slower route, but again, as long as you have stuff to look at, I'll be fine with it. So yeah. In terms of trains, well, we get the GWR Class 802 Dual Mode IET. Yes, we have a new variant of the IET family of trains. We already had the LNER 801 a couple years ago with East Coast Mainline. This year, though, of course, we have the Class 802 in GWR, and yes, this is a dual mode variant, so it has the ability to run on either diesel or electric overhead wires. Although saying that, though, as far as I know, there are no electric, or no, there are no electric wires on this route. South Devon Mainline, Exeter to Plymouth. Yeah, as far as I know, there are no electric overhead wires, so you'll only be able to drive this thing in diesel mode in Train Sim World. Sadly, yeah, there won't be any point on the route where you'll have to change over from diesel to electric, which would be really cool, actually. I would love that, but sadly, no, we're not getting it in this route. Maybe we'll be able to do it in maybe the Great Western Express Remaster, whenever that finally comes out, although that might also just be entirely electric, so I don't know. Yeah, maybe we gotta get into the GWR at some point where we have the power changeover. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe a third-party developer will create that or something. I don't know. But either way, new variant of the IET, so yep, looking forward to driving that. Also in this route is the GWR Class 150 Diesel Multiple Unit. Yeah, so the 150, not a new unit. We first got it years ago with the West Cornwall local route, and we got it again more recently with the Cardiff Network route, and now we're getting it again here with this route. Now, I did watch the roadmap stream, and yeah, so the Class 150 DMU, like I said, not a new unit, although it will be getting some enhancements because they actually acknowledged on the roadmap stream that a lot of people were actually critical of the sounds of the 150, because actually that's something I heard a lot. I was like, oh, but the 150, the sounds are terrible, it doesn't sound realistic and everything, which I personally didn't think much about because I don't know what the Class 150 DMU is supposed to sound like. But from what they mentioned, Delta actually went out and they recorded a whole new sound set for the 150. So hopefully people will enjoy that. Yeah, hopefully we'll have a 150 with a whole new sound set, sound more realistic, more authentic, and all this good stuff. And also, Matt Palsky actually confirmed on the roadmap stream that the sound enhancements will also be backported to the Class 150 that get over in the Cardiff network route. So there you go. So both those 150s will have the new sounds. We'll see if the Rivet Games one gets the same treatment over in the the Cornwall local route. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Alrighty then. So those are the two trains that you will get in the route, but they also listed out all of the layers that they're going to be in this route, and there's a lot of them. So, as far as layers are concerned, we have the HST and Class 166 UWR services. Those, of course, coming from the Great Western Express route. We have Class 66 freight trains coming in from the West Coast Mainline London Milton Keynes route. We have the Rail Treatment train, which is a standalone add-on. Class 47 hauled services from the Just Trains West Coast Mainline Preston Carlisle route. Class Away Shunting services at the Laria Depot, also coming in from Preston Carlisle. Flying Scotsman running a Cathedral Express rail tour using, the Flying Scotsman add-on, of course. Who is me about this one? The Class 52 Hydraulic will be running a Western Program rail tour. And yeah, that's the West Somerset Railway and Class 52 add-on. So I'm guessing the Class 52 will, of course, be the drivable. You also have the Mach 1 coach from West Somerset Railway, because, of course, the Class 52 wasn't actually made for West Somerset Railway way back. Although there is also substitution for the Class 52, the BR Blue Class 52, which comes from the Great Western Express and the Diesel Legends of the Great Western add-on. So yeah, so you have basically the Class 52 from West Somerset Railway or Class 52 from the Great Western Express will be layerable here on the layers. Now those are all playable services. There are also some non-playable services as well. The Class 158 from the Midland Main Line can be seen in Exeter St. David's, running out the map up the station line to Exeter Central, representing Exeter London Waterloo trains, so that's neat. There's also two standard gauge Heritage Railway lines that branch on the road at both the Totnes, I think they meant to say terminuses. The South, there's the station that's the South Devon Railway, and then it's painted on the South Devon Railway, and at Paynton there's a Dartmouth Steam Railway. Though neither of these branches are included in the route. Add-on air service can be unlocked with the Peak Forest and West Somerset Railway add-ons. Playable services are... Playable Sunday service available using the ADF and Jubilee Steam locomotives and AI class services can be seen coming in another map at Totnes. Okay, maybe that's not a... Totnes. I guess that's a... that guy comes by here multiple times a week with his stupid vehicle that always backfires. Like, that scares me every single time. So I do apologize for those of you that. Yeah, I promise you, that was not me. That's some moron with some backfiring stupid exhaust bang vehicle thing. Anyway, so back to this. And apparently GWR Class 150 services also use the joint platforms and signs at Paynton for layover. So yeah, so a lot of playable and non-playable layers. So yep, I will be making sure to download every single one of these add-ons for when I showcase as well in my live stream at the beginning of October. Yep, I'll get into that in a bit. Alrighty then, so that's all the layers, stuff like that. And as for the deluxe train feature of this route is one that I am excited for, and that is the Class 220 Voyager. Yes, we are finally getting the Voyager in Train Symbol. I cannot wait for this one. Always been a fan of the Voyager. Yeah, despite being a diesel high-speed train, I've always liked it. And, shut up, Poopy. You're not going to bring a wanko. It's going to blow up before you even reach the border. But anyway, Class 220 Voyager is coming into Train Symbol at long last. Yeah, it's been a long time thinking of add the Voyager. Would have been cool to have, like, an Avanti Voyager in West Coast Mainline South, although technically the Voyager doesn't even run with Avanti West Coast anymore. I think... Actually, is Cross Country the only rail operator that uses Voyager these days? I don't know. But anyway, we got the Class 220 Voyager in Cross Country. So yeah, that is something that I am very much looking forward to trying out as well. So yeah, Voyager, In terms of timetable stuff, though, I don't think it'll be in layering in any other routes. They did say, oh, you can use the free roam mode to drive the 220 Voyager on various different routes in Train Sim World, which I might consider doing. Although personally, I would rather just have it in a timetable because I don't really like driving trains in free roam mode though, because there's not much you can do besides drive the train. You know, I did play with it for a bit when it first came out, but I have not. Yeah, I have not touched free roam mode in a long while, so I personally would rather see the 220 brought as well for timetable mode. But we'll see what they do later on down the line. But at least for now, Voyager is coming in Train Sim World 6, so yeah, really looking forward to that. Alright, and now for the American route, and you know I'm going to be excited for this one. The New Jersey Transit Morristown line from New York and Hoboken to Dover. Yes, we have another New Jersey Transit route in Train Sim World. Yeah, we already had the Northeast Corridor line from New York to Trenton, but now we have the Morristown line from New York and Hoboken to Dover. Yeah, not to be confused with Dover, Delaware, or Dover in the UK, where I guess they have like the English channel or something like that. But yeah, the Hoboken, Dover, New Jersey. This one though, I am really, really hyped for, because well, it's New Jersey Transit. Of course, I'm excited for it. So anything that's like northeastern is gonna excite me. So yeah, really happy to see another New Jersey Transit route in Train Sim World. This is another route though that I have played previously in Train Sim Classic, and I haven't played it much recently, but I do remember it being very windy and having a lot of stuff to look at. I think the speed I recently was actually pretty decent, like 60 or 70 miles per hour. Now I think about it, I'm gonna have to, like I said, I'm gonna have to drive this route in Train Sim Classic sort of refresh my memory on this thing. But yeah, very happy to see this in Train Sim World. So the route, of course, comes out of the route will come out of the New York Penn Station and will run along the little line. You may remember if you've been near Trenton, there's the Hudson River Tunnel that comes out, and then you go over the Hackensack River, and just before they got the Secaucus Junction Station. But then once you get past Secaucus, though, that's when things get interesting, because that's when you branch off onto the Morristown line itself. So yeah, you got that. And Sunnyside Yard is included in this route as well, so I believe you'll be able to start your New Jersey train service from Sunnyside Yard, drive into Penn Station, and then drive up out of Penn Station, and then eventually get to the Morristown line, and there you go. Of course, you also have the line coming from Hoboken as well, Hoboken Terminal, a location that I'm familiar with also from Train Sim Classic, so you can also start services from Hoboken Terminal, drive up, and then once you get to around like that sort of like Newark area, of course, once again, you will eventually get onto the Morristown line itself. So yeah, of course, once you get further up, it does take the Morristown line via Chatham. So that's like the Morristown line, not to be confused with the I forget what's the other route called. Hang on, I gotta look it up. Hold up, I need to figure this out because now I'm curious to know this. Hold up, New Jersey Transit map. Let me just look this up real quick. Where is it? There we go. System maps. Yeah, the Montclair Boonton line. Yeah, we're not getting that in this route, but we're getting the Morristown line, which goes up to Summit and then branches off. We also have the, oh yeah, there's also Gladstone branch, but no, yeah, no Gladstone branch. But is this called New Providence? Oh, I've never known that, but yeah. But yeah, basically you get to Summit, and then you branch off, you go to Chatham, Madison, Morris Plains, all the stations, then you actually connect back up to the Montclair Boonton line at Denville, and then you run up to Dover, and then that's the other route. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't go all up to Hackettstown, which is a bit disappointing. But then again, it's Dovetail Games, so that was probably to be expected. But yes, you could drive up to, like I said, drive up to Dover. Although it's kind of a shame that you don't get to go all the way up to Hackettstown, and you'll like to see why in a little bit, actually, if you already know what engines are coming. But yeah, route is pretty windy, and it's primarily commuter route as well. I don't imagine there'll be any freight. Maybe there'll be freight. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But at least for now, I know it's mainly going to be New Jersey Transit stopping services. So yeah. Oh yeah, something else that was confirmed on the shut up, Toby. Something else that was confirmed on the roadmap stream that I actually watched is that the route from New York Penn to Newark, I just mentioned this, but the route from New York Penn to Newark has been rebuilt, which I'm very happy about, because if you didn't know, the New York to Trenton route has the route from New York up to Newark Airport. That part is actually reused from the original Northeast Corridor New York route from way back in 2018, back in Train Sim World 1. But it looks to me like that for this route. They have completely rebuilt that section, which I'm happy for, because from what I know, they didn't even do anything to the section from New York Penn to Newark for the Newark Trenton route. They didn't do anything with that section at all. It's still the same old and bad section, but at least for this route, they rebuilt it from the ground up, which I'm glad about, because to be okay, it didn't look that bad, I don't think, in the Trenton World thing. I don't know. It's I don't know. Whatever. Either way, I'm just happy it's being rebuilt, because it's gonna look a lot better. And actually, from some of the gameplay footage and screenshots, it does actually look really good. They also showed some screenshots showing the New York skyline in the background. Even definitely acknowledge, we've never done the New York skyline justice, and now we have. So yeah. I will say, if you look at the screenshot, the New York skyline looks absolutely amazing. You can see the One World Trade Center. Sadly not the Twin Towers, of course, but I'm sorry, I had to throw in a 9/11 joke. But yeah, overall, very interested to see how this route has the Train Sim World rendition of this route, since I've played it also in Train Sim Classic. Now, in terms of the rolling stock, this is where things get really fun. In fact, I would say that the US side of things actually got the best of it this year in terms of like new engines and stuff. So, new to Train Sim World 3 finally is the Aero 3 EMU. Yes, we are getting the Aero 3 electric multiple unit in Train Sim World. Very happy this thing is finally on the game. Yeah, I've always liked the Aero 3, not as much as things like the LP46. Oh, actually, maybe I do like it. I don't know. I like all the new strats and stuff, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But Aero 3, either way, very happy to see that in Train Sim World. It's an older train. It's a classic. Actually, soon to be retired, because they're actually getting on with testing out those new multi-level EMUs that new trains can be running, I guess, as soon as next year. I don't know, but either way, we have the Aero 3 in Train Sim World now, a classic of a train. This is something I've also driven quite a bit over in Train Sim Classic 2, and I really enjoy driving the Aero 3, so happy to have it in Train Sim World. I am hoping, though, that maybe they'll update the New York to Trenton timetable, where they can have this layer in, because I would love to drive the Aero 3 on like a run from New York to Trenton. But having a New York to Hoboken. I just pulled the Matt Pelson there. New York to Hoboken. But a whole New York to Dover. Very looking forward to driving the Aero 3 on that service. So yeah, that'll be fun. Also returning though from New York to Trenton is the LP46 and multi-level coaches. That's, like I said, that's just been poured over from New York to Trenton, but nice to see that back, I suppose. Although we all would have expected that to come. So yeah. In terms of layers for this one, I'm safe to assume I think we're going to be getting the ACS64 with Northeast Regional Services, as well as the Acela, because there is a very short section of Northeast Quarter included with this route from New York Penn to up to Newark, although Newark Station actually, or Newark Penn Station actually isn't in this route, because the line actually branches off on the more southern before that. So yeah. But like, you still will know this quarter though, so you will see Northeast Regional and Acela services. So there you go. As far as the deluxe engine, this is another one that I expected, but here we are, the ALP45DP. Yes, ALP45DP is also coming here in Train Sim World, and it's actually the first generation ALP45DP, not to be confused with the ALP45DPA, which is the one that Austin built. I believe this is the previous Bombardier one. Which also means that if you remember building season 5, there was an ALP45DP character in that one, and I believe this ALP45DP in Train Sim World is actually the same as that one. So yes, we will be getting Shanny in Train Sim World. So yeah, Dude of the Yard / Build Set character is going to be coming to Train Sim World. So yeah, maybe I could try and recreate down the Hackensack with the ADAP that I reskinned to make it look like a Pacific big boy. So I might try that, although the Crash Pigs in Train Sim World are kind of janky, so I probably won't look like we'll see how I can pull it off, if I can. And yeah, that is all regarding the New Jersey Transit Morristown line. And actually that pretty much covers the base content in Train Sim World 6. Overall though, I don't think these 3 routes are quite as good as last year's. I really loved West Coast Main Line, London Milton Keynes. Frankfurt was also a lot of fun, and even San Bernardino was a pretty solid route as well. I'd say these routes are a little bit weaker than those, but still a very solid list. Like, I'm not saying this is like a bad list or anything. I would say that Train Sim World 6 still has a very solid list of routes coming, because we have, like I said, we have an extension of a German route that we already had, which should make that route a lot more fun to play now. We got the Riviera line, which of course is a kind of a new experience. It's a very scenic route. Also, of course, we got the GWR 802 IET, so I'm looking forward to driving that as well in Train Sim World. And of course we have the Morristown line, which again, always love New Jersey Transit. So yeah. All right then. So but there you go. That is all of 3 of the core routes plus the deluxe locomotives that will be coming in Train Sim World 6. All right then. Okay, now let's move on to the new features in Train Sim World 6. There's a lot here to unpack here. So, new features then. So I believe the first new feature that they unveiled was random events. Yeah, this is something that I've seen players request for a really long time now. And yes, random events are going to be in Train Sim World 6. So that means if you play in the timetable mode, there is a possibility that a random event will happen on your journey. Oh, I haven't mentioned anything about if they're... Oh! You know what? Finally, to be actually something useful. You're right. I almost forgot to say this. Oh, yeah. Okay, anyway, moving back to Moving back to Morristown for a second. This was something else. It's funny. It's a very similar situation as with the South Devon Main Line, the Riviera Line, whatever you call it. Where there are really no power changeover sections of the line for like if you, because like I said, the LB4FDP has the ability to either run on diesel electric or overhead electric, and it does have the ability to change power modes. But this is another route though where it's not really possible. Although ironically, on the Riviera line, you're gonna be driving that entire route in diesel mode with the 802, whereas on this route, you're gonna be driving the entire thing in electric mode. Oh yeah, and there's something else I also forgot to mention as well. There's so much going on here. Something else that people pointed out was that the Morristown line ends at Dover, but they could have built it all the way up to Hackettstown because I believe Dover is actually where the overhead section ends, and ALP4FD is really they change over to diesel mode and they drive up the full Morristown line all the way up to Hackettstown. So, you know, it's like okay, they got another dual locomotive, but again, there are no power changeover points, or so we thought. But then Matt Pelston on the roadmap stream actually pointed out that actually there is a possibility that you will actually have to do power changeovers before you get to Hoboken because some servers that run the LB4FDP, they actually have to change over power modes from electric to diesel because they're gonna like I said, you're coming in from the Morristown line and they get to Hoboken, then that train changes around and it goes on to like a different line. Like let's say the line that goes underneath Secaucus Junction. Do I still have the system map? Here we go. Like for example, you could get to Hoboken, but then the train goes back up again on let's say the Bergen line or the main line. I just noticed it's called here on the map. The main line. Are you kidding me? Anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah. So basically, what's gonna happen is that if you do certain services with the AB4DP, once you get to actually, where was it? Once you get to Newark Broad Street. Okay, once you get there, even if you're in electric mode, you will actually be required to change over to diesel mode to finish the journey. Because from what Matt Powson said, trains are for some reason not allowed to change power modes in Hoboken Terminal. I don't know why, but yeah. So for some services, despite the fact that it runs electric all the way to Hoboken, you'll have to change power modes at Newark Broad Street before you get to Hoboken. That way the train will be configured and set to go when it goes up the Yellow Main Line up to Suffern or Bergen Line or the past Tech Valley Line. Does the LB4 go? Wait, does the LB4 even go on past Tech Valley Line? I have no idea, but there you go. Yeah, like I said, that's what Matt Powson said. We'll have to see how it goes in the gameplay, but yeah, so there you go. So yeah, sadly there are no diesel sections on the route itself, but like I said, you might have to change over to diesel on some services when you go up into Hoboken. So yeah, or vice versa. You might start out as a diesel. You might start out in diesel mode when you depart Hoboken Terminal, but then once you get to Newark Broad Street, you will have to change over to electric to complete the whole journey all the way up to Dover. So yeah. Again, real shame though that they could have also. I feel like they could have also done the North Jersey coastline, although that's a pretty long route though for Train Sim World status. Because on the North Jersey coastline, you actually run electric mode all the way. Oh, it starts out in Penn Station. That's interesting. You start on Penn Station on North Jersey coastline, they go all the way to Long Branch in electric mode, and then once you get to Long Branch, you then change over to diesel mode to go down to Bayhead. And like I said, same thing happens here in this route. Like once you get to Dover, you would change over to get to Hackettstown. But like I said, they don't have Hackettstown in this game. They only built as far as Dover, so I don't know. I just realized that now. We have 2 new dual mode locomotives, but we can't even use the power change features because the route doesn't have it. Isn't that great? So yeah. Well, there you go. That's all to say then regarding the MV45 DP. So yeah. Okay, back to new features then. So, like I said, random events. I have seen this requested quite a bit actually in the Train Sim World community. A lot of people say, hey, you know what? Random events would actually be a really cool thing. It would very much enhance the gameplay. And, well, here it is. So, like I said, this mainly applies to the time to mode, although they might incorporate this into the career scenarios. But it'd be cool to have, they actually have this in time to mode. So, yeah. So there are two different types of random events. There's the signal delays, where signals could take a bit longer to turn green. So let's say if you're stuck at a red light for whatever reason, could take a little bit longer to turn green than you might expect. It usually turns green instantly once the line clears, but with the signal delays turned on, it could take a bit longer. It could take 20 or 30 seconds or something like that, or just even as little as 5 seconds, you know. And which may not sound like a big deal. However, that could that could impact you throughout your run. Like let's say if you get a bunch of signals that are all taking the time to turn green, then that could affect you, and there's a possibility that you might arrive late to your destination, or you might arrive early. You might arrive ahead of schedule, though, because maybe a different train has been delayed. So that could make things very interesting if you're driving to, like, a big terminus station. So, yeah, that could be a very interesting gem if you're curious to take a look at how that goes. And the other random event is going to be the temporary speed restrictions. So this is the possibility of lower speed limits due to damage to the line or workers around the tracks. Which is actually pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, basically, if you have this turned on, there is a possibility that during your run, you have to reduce your speed way below line speed because of, like I said, an eventuality, like I said, damage to the line, workers on the track. So yeah, that'll make things interesting. They have said that at the beginning of your service, you will be given a briefing to outline where all the temporary speed restrictions will be, so you can plan ahead. So yeah, basically, if you start a new service, I guess it will tell you like, oh, there's a temporary speed restriction here, there's temporary speed restriction there. So make sure you're get ready for that when you do your run. So yeah, so that'll be very interesting. So yeah, 2 new types of random events that could happen on your route. So that'll make things very interesting. It's also been confirmed, though, great news, that the random events, the signal delays, and the temporary speed restrictions will also apply to older routes. Yeah, so this won't just be in the Train Sim 6 base routes. This will also be in some past routes. Now, they did say this won't go for every route. It only will work where it makes sense. Like, I'm guessing most like Boston to Province will have the ability to have the random events turned on. Although they may not have random events and maybe something like, I don't know, Crew to Liverpool or something like that, the Steam route. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But yeah, they have mentioned that these 2 random events will also be a thing in other routes if you want to talk on there. And, yeah. Again, though, they have also said that you do have the option to turn these off. So if you want just a regular old Train Sim World experience where you don't have anything go wrong, you can turn these off. This is just something you can turn on if you want to enhance your gameplay experience. Which again will add a lot of replay value, because usually I only play routes like a certain amount of times before I just get bored of them because there's nothing else to do. But this will definitely make things very interesting. It'll definitely have me inclined to try out these new routes, or even just go back to older routes multiple times over to see like what kind of eventualities we get. You know, what the signal delays or the temporary speed restrictions. It's gonna make things very interesting for the just for playing Train Sim Worlds. So yeah. All right then. So that's so like I said, these random events, these are for the these are gonna be backported some routes in Train Sim World. Although now we're getting into some Train Sim World 6 route only features. So these features will only be on the new Train Sim World 6 routes, plus any routes that come out in the future. So first feature I want to talk about is train faults. Yeah. So yeah, so this is train faults. So if you have driven the Expert BR101 locomotive, you will know the Expert BR101 has a fault simulation feature, which is very interesting. I've tried it out myself personally, although usually it goes wrong. Although that's probably because I have the what's it called? That's probably because I have the chaos factor turned up way too high. Like I don't know. It's weird, but maybe I should play within like a lower chaos factor setting. I don't know. But then the thing is, though, I don't like about the Xperia 101 though is that sometimes things can go wrong to the point where the engine just blows up and you have to try and restart it, and it's usually I can't do that because it's difficult. You know, it's very it's weird how that works. Although they have said that for the train fault simulation on these new Train Sim World 6 trains, I say Train Sim World 6 trains. I think it's going to apply to all of the trains, like even the reused ones like the Talent 2 or the one for the opposite coaches. I think like every single train that's gonna be in Transport 6, whether it's either gonna be included one of the 3 routes or the deluxe, will have the train fault feature. Although I did, again, Matt Paulson did say on the roadmap stream that these won't be terminal though. There's gonna be like simple things, like they list out stuck/broken wiper blades, headlight malfunctions, dynamic brake failure, tilt functions for tilting trains, and more stuff. But yeah, like I said, they have confirmed that it's not gonna be anything terminal. Like there's like if you have the train faults turned on, there's never gonna be a point where the train just blows up beyond repair. Like it's never gonna get to a point where you can't restart the train. It's gonna be like stuff to where like if it goes wrong, I would imagine you either stop the train or you stop at a station, and then you can just fix the problem there, and then you can just keep going, and eventually you will get to the end of your service. It's not like the Expert BR 101 where you could get a terminal failure and you're stuck, and then you have no choice to just turn off the fault simulation to keep going. Like I said, for these trains, for Train Sim World 6 trains, like I said, it's not gonna be anything terminal. It's just gonna be like stuff that goes wrong, but it's easy enough to fix. And also, they've also had like walkthrough stuff like this as well, because something else that I didn't really like about the Expert BR 101 was that whenever there was like a fault, it was kind of difficult to try to fix the fault because, well, also didn't have that the instructions were in German because I don't speak any word of German, so I don't know what to do there. But at least here with these Transport 6 trains, they did say that there's gonna be like a guide or something like that. Like there's gonna be I don't know. There's some sort of guide that tells you like this is how you fix this, and then you can do it, and then you can keep on with your service until you eventually get to the end. So yeah, I will say this. I think I might even prefer this over the Xperia 101. Hopefully it's less of like a mess, and I'm hoping that it actually works as well, because the fault simulation is a bit buggy as well in the Xperia 101. Like even if I try to fix something, it just doesn't work. So yeah. And yeah, like I said, I think this fault simulation applies to every train in Train Sim World 6. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to trying it out and seeing how it works. So yeah. Oh, just like with the random events feature, this is something they can toggle on or off as well. So I'll probably have this toggled off whenever I like try a new route for the first time, and then once I've gotten familiar with the route, I can then turn some of the stuff on just to make the gameplay experience more interesting. So yeah, like imagine having both the signal delays and train faults turned on at the same time. Like let's say you're already delayed because you were held at signal for longer than anticipated, and then oh great, something's wrong with your train. You gotta fix it. It's gonna make things very interesting. So yeah. Yeah, so overall, though, I would say these event trailers are very interesting, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how these work out in Train Sim World 6, so yeah. But now for a new feature, which I actually am very much looking forward to, and this is another thing that's been a long time coming, but we finally have announcements. Yes, passenger announcements in stations and on board the train. So, yeah, basically, you're riding, you've probably ridden a train in real life, and you've heard, now arriving at your motherland. So yeah, we're gonna be getting that in Train Sim World now. Yeah, finally, we're gonna be getting announcements of like the next station is your mother. So it's gonna be very interesting to see that in action. This was also something that they kind of did though, or Justrins kind of did with the Pacer and the Blackpool branch route. They had like the announcements programmed in there. They had you had to like click on a phone to make it actually work. Whereas here, with the new Train Sim World 6 routes, I believe it's gonna be automatic. So if you just turn it on, it will just play, and when you get to the close station, it will tell you now approaching your mother. So, yeah, I would say that I'm more of a fan of like the onboard announcements because you like to be able to hear those. Whereas the station announcements, you'll only be able to hear like if you hang around the stations for a while, or especially like a really busy station. Actually, if it's a really busy station, then you'll probably hear it if you're doing like a service. But then if you're like in the middle of nowhere station though, you are gonna have to just hang around for a while. You're gonna have to spawn on foot, and then just hang around the station for a little bit until you hear an announcement or something. They can get on the train and ride on to wherever you feel like it. So yeah. Either way though, again, announcements. It's something I welcome. Something I'm very much looking forward to. Although technically they already had passenger announcements in stations, but with like these like generic lines. Make sure you have all your belongings with you as you exit the train. It was like these generic announcements that would just play randomly if you're in the station. But now we have like curated announcements where it's like, the next train to your mother will be arriving on platform 5. So yeah, that's gonna be very interesting. And actually, Hubis just pointed out that the Bernina Line and Skyway Line also had announcements. I don't remember the Scott line having announcements, although I might need to give that a try. Oh no, maybe it did. I don't remember. Maybe I gotta try out that line, because I have driven Edinburgh to Glasgow, although I've never bothered with the Bernina line because I found it was bored. Oh no, maybe they also had this in the 170. I don't remember. I might need to go back to playing the ScotRail content. Actually, I haven't played it in a long while. No, I remember there was an announcer, and she sounded just so bored, like just totally dead inside. I remember when they did the announcement. So I don't know. Maybe I gotta replay some of the ScotRail content to see if I can hear those announcements. I don't remember hearing those, but that's just my memory is bad. I forget things easily. So yeah, but yeah, we've had announcements some things previously, but yeah, now we're having them in official Dovetail content. So yeah, that's gonna make things very interesting. Yeah. Alrighty then, and then the final new feature is actually something that they didn't unveil until the roadmap stream just today, and that is passenger ambient audio on board trains, which they actually showed a short clip of in the roadmap stream just today. So basically, you're gonna hear chattering from the passengers. So yeah, basically, if you're doing conductor mode or you're just walking around the train or whatever, and if it's a passenger train, you'll actually hear the passengers talking. So again, they showed a short clip of this in the roadmap stream today. So if you want to see that in action, you can go watch that stream. I'm not sure. I forget at which point in the stream they did it, but chances are that they'll get around editing the timestamp, so you'll be able to skip through that. So yeah, you'll be able to see what that's like. Yeah. Also, apparently, this also. Yes, this adds new noise and chattering in coaches that dynamically adapts in volume based on how many passengers in a single area. So yeah, I guess if you're in like a really busy or a really packed coach, there's gonna be like a lot of talking, like, and then maybe if you're in like a coach where there's next to nobody there, which does happen in trains and because the power system is stupid, you might only hear just one person talking, or you might hear nothing because no one's there. So yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. And they'd also say as well in the roadmap stream there's going to be an article coming soon covering these features in more detail. So, yeah. So basically all the stuff I just went over, the random events, train faults, passing announcements, and the ambient audio. Yeah, they have said that pretty soon there's going to be a whole article that's going to be covering all these new features, and they're also more likely going to be showing these features in action on the upcoming live streams that they're going to do when they do the route showcases. I should mention, though, I will not be watching any of the route showcase live streams because I want to be surprised. Because I will be checking out these routes in my own live stream that I'll be doing earlier in October, and I'll announce that when we get to it. But yeah, so and that's actually it for new features, new gameplay features. So yeah, overall, a rather interesting list of new features. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing all these in action in Train Sim World 6. So yeah. A couple of things also mentioned, there's gonna be some quality of life improvements coming to Train Sim World. They didn't really say much of what kind of quality of life improvement I was talking about, though, so I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see what those quality of life improvements are gonna be. Although they did hint at it in the roadmap stream. So you may be aware of the layer selector feature in Train Sim World. That's basically like how many different how many different trains do you want to show from like other add-ons, right? Because Train Sim World has what's called layers, where you have the base route, right? You have the route itself, and then the layers is basically trains that show up on the route that are included in other add-ons. Like, for example, I just mentioned this earlier. Like, for example, the upcoming Riviera line. The Riviera line comes with the 802 and the 150 trains. However, there are trains that will layer onto it. So basically means that you can drive the HST or the 166 in the timetable mode. Like, there's pre-made services for those trains, right? But obviously, you don't get the HST or the 166 in Riviera line because those are in the but because the trains exist in the game, they come over from the Great West Express route. That's basically what layers is. Now, I have seen though a lot in the community that a lot of people on like lower end systems, like the older generation consoles or some lower end computers, they have a lot of trouble with like a lot of layers turned on, because the more layers you have turned on, the worse the frame rate is gonna be on like a route, right? So and so that's why Dovetail introduced the layer selector feature actually back in Train Sim World 5. So this way players can go and they can turn off some layers if it's impacting the performance on whatever hardware they're using. You know what I mean? So in Train Sim World 6, every route is going to have the layers turned off by default. So basically, if you load up like a route they've never been before, like for example, the new Train Simulator 6 routes, at first you will only see the trains that are included with the route. You're not going to see any of the layered trains unless you're going to turn those on. Now, thankfully, there is an enable everything feature. So if a route has a million different layers, you can just toggle it on just with one click, and then have all the layers back, which is what I'll be doing because in my personal experience, though, I've never had a problem with it ever. But then again, I have a very, very beefy computer, like a computer that is beyond like the minimum capabilities, or even the recommended capabilities or recommended specs, needed for Train Sim World. Like here's the thing, like every single time a new route comes out, I also just download everything that I can use on the route as well, just to fill the timetable as much as possible, and just make the route just as busy as possible. So yeah, I was a little bit annoyed at first. I was like, oh come on, why are the layers turned off by default? But then they said, oh, but there's a thing they can turn it on. So yeah, because like I said, there's gonna be a lot of layers in the Riviera Line route, and like I said, maybe download as much stuff as I can, or all of it actually for the layers onto it, and I'll have it toggled on because, like I said, every time a new route comes out, every time a new route comes out, I always like to get as much stuff as possible, because if there's a train that I really like that I've driven in a previous route, I can be like, oh cool, I can drive this route now, because this actually happened recently with the Castle Wurzburg route, when they came up with the Beer 101 gameplay pack for that. The Flix Train Vectron now has a couple services on Castle Wurzburg, so I was like, oh cool, I really like the Flix Train Vectron, and I can drive that on Castle Wurzburg. So that's basically a layer in a sense. Yeah, but I guess if you're on like a lower end system, then turning off layers, I guess will help performance. But again, I'm on a super high end computer, so this is never a problem for me. So, but I figured I would put that out there. Ironically, speaking on the topic of performance, they also did mention that apparently they're gonna try to improve the memory and robustness of the game, for the future thing. And this is actually something that our friend Andre actually mentioned, because he actually told me not too long ago that the performance of Train Sim World, even on his gaming laptop, is getting worse. Because, he's played Train Sim World on his computer as far back as Train Sim World 2. I think back then it was, like, much more stable. But as each edition has come out, the optimization keeps getting worse and worse. And it's come to a point where the game doesn't work right anymore on his computer. Because he does play Train Sim Classic. He also plays this other simulator called Zusi, and those games still work fine on his laptop. I think it's just because Train Sim World 6, or Train Sim World just keeps getting worse and worse in terms of optimization over time. So, at least now it seems like Dovetail are finally be like, okay, we know the optimization is getting worse. We're going to do our best to fix it. So we'll see what the optimization will be like in Train Sim World 6. Again, I never had much of a problem with optimization because I have a super beefy computer. But I think people with lower-end computers will definitely appreciate the fact they're going to do their best to optimize the game. So, yeah. So we will see how that turns out then. Let's see if it's any better in Train Sim World 6. Yeah. Okay, so we're almost done then with Train Sim World 6 stuff before we get into the really good stuff. Ooh, yeah. They also mentioned that the free starter pack is coming back for Train Sim World 6 and will be available until November 3rd. So yeah, you have until November 3rd to claim the free starter pack, which you can't keep forever. So yeah, if you want to upgrade, if you're on Train Sim World 5 or even just the previous version of Train Sim World, you want to upgrade to Train Sim World 6, get that free starter pack as soon as you can. So yeah. I guess it was also optimization problems. Yeah. Well, let's see how they do the optimization in Train Sim World 6. So yeah. But free starter pack coming back, so claim that pack as soon as you can. Just to press a button. So yeah. Free starter pack. Of course, we also get the training center in that, and yeah, the SD4-2 American diesel locomotive will also be coming to the training center. So that's quite a few trains at the training center now. Yeah, we have the 8F steamer, the Class 53 EMU, Class 66, the BR146, whatever it was, with double slug coaches. I think that's all that was in there. And yeah, now we're also getting the SD4-2. So yeah, we have an American engine. Yeah. So yeah, although I never played with the training center stuff, but there you go. You get the SD4-2 with training center. So yeah. Alrighty then. Okay then. So that is everything regarding Train Sim World 6 itself. So Train Sim World 6 Steering Edition will be coming out on September 30th. So about exactly 1 month from now. Just happens to be on the final day of September. And yes, I will be covering all the Train Sim World 6 content here on the channel. Last year I just did one big long live stream though, covering all the Train Sim World 5 stuff. But this year though, I'll be splitting up into 2 live streams. So on October 1st of 2025, I'll be doing a live stream covering the base routes. So that being Leipzig, Dresden, Riviera line, and Morrison line. I'll be covering the rest themselves. I'll also be driving the new trains. I'll be driving the ICT on Leipzig Dresden, the 802, and the 150 on Riviera line because of the paint and branch line. And I'll also be driving the 803 on the Morrison line. And on Thursday, October 2nd, I'll be then covering the DLC locomotives. So that'll be Leipzig Dresden. I'll be driving the 294 Shunter. Over on Riviera, I'll drive the Voyager, and then on the Morrison line, I'll drive the ALP 45 DP. So, yep. That's been it for live streams. I will also be doing 2 separate videos covering the features. I'll be doing one video in sort of mid-October or so, where I'll be covering the random events thing. Although I will not be doing the random events video on a new Train 6 route because this is supposed to work on previous routes. So I actually plan on trying this on the Long Island Railroad commuter route with the M9. So I plan on doing that video, like I said, mid-October. But then I will be doing a video as well on the train faults feature, although that, of course, will be on a Train 6 route because, as far as we know, the train faults feature will only be on Train 6 onwards routes. Yeah. Now, saying this, though, I am hoping that they will eventually start to incorporate things like the announcements and the train faults into other routes, you know, like, say, Boston Promise, for example, or West Coast South, or routes that came out previously. We'll see, though. We'll see what happens. And, yeah. Okay. It was a lot. I am out of breath, and we still have a lot left to go. Yeah, make sure I try 45 12 I probably won't because I'm going to have to reset it a million times over. But I might try to do game screenshots for 45-12 on, like, just a random screenshot. So, yeah. Okay, I need to breathe for a second there. That was a lot, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, but I've been streaming for an hour, by the way. Dang. This is only an hour-long stream. And I still got lots of left to cover. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to pass out in a minute here. Alright, just give me a second, guys. I'm trying to catch my breath here. Alright, there we go. Man, so much to talk about. Yeah, I'm actually running out of breath from yapping on about this. So I wasn't expecting this stuff to be this long, but here we are. I mean, I'm okay. Not that I'm, I'm okay with a long live stream though, because that means a lot of stuff to talk about. So yeah, I'm also gonna take a pee, a number 2, in my bucket. Yep, I have a bucket for peeing into, in case you didn't know. Yeah. All right, come on. There we go. Alright, take it over that way. Okay, fine. I probably thought it was disgusting, but I don't care. Alright, that's my little break done. Okay, one more sip of water. Alright, I'm gonna have to slow down a little bit because I need to get to the end of this live because, man, there is a lot of stuff left to cover. I'm only halfway through my my notepad file, by the way. I'm still got all the stuff left to go. Okay, so that is going to wrap up everything for what will be coming on Train 6 itself. So September 30th or September 25th for the deluxe and special editions. So yeah, that's all for Train 6 launch day. But now... Oh, shut up. Oh, there's someone blasting music. Of course there are. Okay, now it is time to get into the post-launch content because... they unrevealed a lot. More than I was expecting. I was only expecting 6 new things to be revealed, but they revealed 8 new stuff, and most of them they take a ticket, and something else as well that they only announced after the fact. Alright, let's get into it. So, here we go then. Time for the post-launch content for Train 6, and man, there is some really good stuff in here. In fact, I might say that the post-launch stuff might be even more exciting than what's going to be in Train 6 itself. So, let's get into it. So, I'm going to break it up into 2 sections. This is actually be based on the roadmap because they have the 0-3 month section, which is of course all the stuff that's coming soon, and they also have the what's it called? I just call it the layer down the track section. That's for stuff that's further down the line, so that's probably stuff that probably won't come until next year or not till December this year. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we'll see how the roadmap updates. We'll wait to get to the October roadmap in about a month from now. So there you go. Alrighty then. So. Let's start with the new post-launch content coming Train 6. So starting off with the 0 to 3 months category. So, it's funny. Last year, before Trains World 5 was a thing, we didn't have the West Coast Main Line at all in Trains World 5. Yeah, well, okay, technically we had a very short section of the West Coast Main Line from Crew up to wherever that junction is on the Spirit of Steam route. And actually, we also had a short section of the West Coast Main Line over in the Bakerloo line as well that came out way back. Actually, that was a core route of Trains World 2, so yeah, really old. But then, of course, with Trains World 5, we got the West Coast Main Line south from London to Milton Keynes, of course, based in the modern day. Also came with the Class 20 Pendolino. And later on in the same year, 2024, we also got the West Coast Main Line, Preston to Carlisle, courtesy of Just Trains, based in the 1980s. We got the Class 87. Yeah, I really enjoyed both as well. Love the West Coast Main Line south. Also love West Coast Main Line Preston to Carlisle. I really enjoyed the 87, by the way. It's such a fun engine to drive with the tap changer feature. Well, guess what? We are now getting 2 more West Coast Main Line routes. So, yeah, if you're a fan of the West Coast Main Line, well, guess we're getting more West Coast Main Line. Yeah, so, the first, it was actually been confirmed to be the first route coming post-launch for Trains World 6 is the West Coast Main Line from Birmingham to Crewe. Yes, Birmingham, the beautiful city of Birmingham. Yes, we are getting beautiful city of Birmingham. Hey, hello there, Sam Productions. Welcome to the show. I've never seen you around here before. But yeah, Birmingham to Crewe. West Coast Main Line is coming to Train Sim World 6. Yes. Oh yeah, Birmingham Crewe, Train World 6 indeed. And this is coming courtesy of All Aboard Studios. So yeah, this is gonna be All Aboard Studios' first add-on for Train World 6. And yeah, back in April, they oh, shut up, Poopy. Back in April, they actually teased a new route coming from All Aboard Studios, and actually people were actually immediately able to figure out, hey, that's Crewe, because in the I think it was like the April roadmap or whatever it was, they showed an image of a station from like the All Aboard Studios route, and everyone immediately knew, hey, that's Crewe. And here's the route. Here is Crewe to Birmingham. West Coast Main Line coming to Train Sim World 6, courtesy of All Aboard Studios. So yes, this has been confirmed. This will be the first post-launch route coming out after Train Sim World 6. It's a very interesting route as well. So this is supposed to be route at first, but gets higher speed later. Like once like you saw at Birmingham New Street or Birmingham Central, I don't know, the main Birmingham station. It's actually a bit slow to start with, and actually I know this route because. Is there some stuff going on? I know this one because not too long ago, I actually pirated the I pirated the West Coast Main Line route from Birmingham to Preston over for Train Sim Classic, so I actually got to drive on that route over in that game. And I noticed that the route was actually really slow once you get to Birmingham New Street. It doesn't really pick up until you get past like Wolverhampton or something like that. I'm not too sure. So yeah, it's a slow route at first, but then you do get up to some high speed running up until you get to Crewe. So that's if you're driving the Pendolino or the 350. And yes, this route will be coming with the future train being the Class 350 Desiro, which of course is not a new train. We got the 350. We got the 350 Desiro last year with West Coast Main Line south. But yeah, now we're getting it as the main train again with this route because of course it's the West Coast Main Line. However, we will be getting new variants of the Class 350. We'll be getting the variants 1, 2, and 3, each in a different livery. And this is also something that I actually experienced a little bit over in Dragon Transport Classic, and I think this is also in the this is also a thing in the the Winter 2019 timetable mod for the West Coast Main Line South route, because they had the 350 of course in the regular London Northwestern livery, but they also had the I like to call the London Northwestern Railway hybrid scheme, which is a hybrid scheme of the London Western, but also the old London Midland scheme, and of course we also had the London Midland scheme, which is the London Western branding on it. Apparently that's what we're going to be getting in this route, so that's going to be very interesting. Also featuring is also Unit 350-235 in the British Transport Police livery, so that's going to be interesting, a special livery for the 350, so look out for that. I did look at the screenshots though, and from what I saw, the 350 is still unbranded because I guess they still haven't been able to secure the London Western licensing, which is a bit annoying. So I'm guessing, yeah, they're going to have all these new schemes in this new route release, but they're going to be unbranded. But of course, for PC players, I'm sure they're gonna come out with a branding patch because they did actually make a branding patch for the Class 50 add-on or Class 50 in the West Coast Main Line thing for Train Sim World 5, and obviously them I will support over to the route over Train Sim World 6. And I'm also guessing that someone's gonna make a branding patch for the 350 in this new route here from All Aboard Studios. So we got that. Yeah, Crew's good though. Come on. Anyway, Austin didn't ruin it. He also ruined your mother. But anyway, what was I talking about? So yeah, like I said, I would expect somebody to make a branding patch for the 350s though here in Trains and World. So yeah, we'll see that. They've also confirmed layers for the Class 390 Pendolino. So if you have the Pendolino add-on, that will also layer onto this route, so you'll be able to do high-speed Avanti West Coast services. And also other layers have also been confirmed as well. They did show briefly a 323, and we'll see what other stuff they have in the timetable for this route. So yeah, on the whole though, really looking forward to this route. You know, again, I really enjoyed West Coast Mainline south on the Milton Keynes. Now we're getting another new section of the West Coast Mainline, and this is actually set in 2019 apparently, then like a transitional phase. Yeah. Now, of course, once again, there are no new trains, though. Again, with this route, it's just the 350 again. But this would be a new variant of the 50, which is something that we didn't get in the West Coast Mainline Milton Keynes route, so we'll see what those look like. So, yeah, I would say see what those look like. They did show some screenshots of it. But, yeah, we'll have to see what kind of branding packages come out, so, yeah. But, of course, we also have another high-speed route for the Pendolino as well, and we'll also get some other layers as well. So, there you go. But that wasn't all from All Aboard Studios, because All Aboard Studios also confirmed, or about to confirm, All Aboard Studios' first local add-on. And, well, it's ironic because earlier in this stream, we talked about the Class 802 IET GWR. Well, we will also be getting, soon enough, the Class 805 IET, which happens to also be a dual-mode variant of the IET family train. So, yeah, Class 805 in Avanti West Coast coming to the game. And, yeah, it's the third IET train we're going to have now. So, we've got the 801 in LNER, 802 in GWR, and now 805 in Avanti West Coast. Interesting enough, though, this is not going to apply to the, at least not yet, it's going to apply to the, no, I would imagine there'd probably be timetable services for 805 on Birmingham to Crewe, but no, they actually said that this is going to be for the West Coast Mainline South route. So, yeah, so they mentioned here, there's going to be a new 2025 timetable for the West Coast Mainline South route with 2,000 total services and more than 1,000 playable services. So, yeah, we have that. And, yes, 85 indeed. Or 805. So, yeah, I've got that coming then in Transport 6 at some point. It's actually in the 0-3 month category, so we're probably going to get it this year, actually, pretty soon. But, yeah, new 25 timetable for West Coast Mainline, so that can be very interesting. They even say 2,000 total playable servers, 2,000 playable servers. I hope so, because I will be real with you. The timetable, the default timetable in West Coast Mainline Milton Keynes, honestly wasn't that great, which is weird because I thought it was actually really good at first when I first started driving on that route, but then I drove it after a while and I was like, oh, there's not a lot of trains here on this route that I expected. Yeah. And that's funny. I then downloaded the Winter 2019 timetable mod for West Coast Mainline South, and I was like, this route is so much fun to drive around. I really enjoy this. So I'm hoping we get a similar experience to that then with this new 2025 timetable, because if so, that's likely what I'm going to be playing in this. Well, no, that is what I'm going to be playing, because that's the only weird thing where you get the 805. So yeah. I would also assume that's gonna make up for like all of the Avanti West Coast services, because we're gonna have the Class 390 Pendolino, which of course runs a bunch of services between London and Milton Keynes, but of course now we're also getting the 805, because in case you don't know, the 805 runs on the part of the Avanti West Coast network without overhead. Oh, and the painful irony is we're getting another dual mode train, yet no, we're actually driving in diesel mode. Yeah, we were getting the Class 805. Oh, which is, what's even more ironic? We got the 802, which is only drivable in diesel mode on the Riviera line, and now we're going to be in the 805, which will only be drivable in electric mode over on West Coast Mainline Milton Keynes. So, yay! More dual modism, so we can use the dual mode. Hooray! Yeah, whatever. Well, you know what? Hey, good thing I still am a fan of the IET family of trains, so I'm looking forward to driving this thing on West Coast Mainline. So, yeah. As of right now, there are actually no screenshots, though, of the 805, and actually Alex confirmed on the stream that I guess there's some licensing going on, which is a bit weird because they already have the Avanti West Coast licensing, so I don't understand why they can't show any screenshots yet of the 805, but I guess they'll show those soon enough, and it's in the 3 months category, so I would assume this is going to be coming pretty soon. So, yes. Alrighty then, but that is still not all for West Coast Mainline content, because we're going back to 90 days for this next one. We have another route from Just Trains, this being the West Coast Mainline from Crewe to Preston. Yes, we're getting another route from Crewe, but this time going north up to Preston. So yeah, this is gonna not link up, but it's gonna connect up. Okay, it's not gonna connect up. Okay, it's gonna go to Preston, which, as you know, was initially featured in the West Coast Mainline over Shap route. Of course, went from Preston to Belinda Carlisle. So yeah, you have that going on. So isn't that funny? We got two different developers. We got now we have the whole West Coast Main Line from Birmingham to Preston, and technically also up to Carlisle if you get the overshat route. Which is funny because the route over in Transit Classic actually goes from Birmingham all the way up to Preston. So yeah, there's basically two different sections of the route. But obviously though, the West Coast Main Line Crew to Preston route is going to be set in the 1980s. So yeah, all right. Anyway, Crew to Preston. What about it? So this is going to be the third route being developed by Just Trains. Will make actually really good quality stuff for Trains and Wool. They absolutely knocked out of the park with the Blackpool branches, Westland over Stratford. Even the Class 86 was a really pleasurable locomotive drive. So yeah, we got another top-notch route coming from Just Trains. So very much looking forward to that. This is another UK route based in the year 1986, so they're still on their 1986 kick, I guess. And yeah, this is, like I said, West Coast Main Line Crew to Preston, so this is going to be a high-speed route, but it's also going to have a multitude of branch lines. So yeah, if you don't really fancy doing like high-speed passenger services, you also get plenty of branch lines and stuff. So coming with the run times of trains is going to be the Class 86 Variant 4, which I find to be interesting because we got the Class 86 Variant 2 as a standalone add-on. Actually only a month ago, it came out for the West Coast Main Line over Shat route. But now we're getting the Class 86 Variant 4 with, of course, very different passenger coaches though. I'm guessing we're getting the Mach 2 Fs again, which of course we also got with the 86.2. So, yeah, we got that coming in with this route. But we also get more stuff because we also get some upgrade equipment. More specifically, we're going to be getting an upgraded version of the Class 20 Variant 0. Class 20 has actually been in Trains for a really, really long time now, although it's never been updated properly. But yeah, Just Trains have taken it upon themselves to upgrade the Class 20 for usage on this route, as well as the Class 47 Variant 3 will also be getting upgrades, so very much looking forward to taking those out. And they will both be equipped with a new slow speed control feature. So yeah, you'll be able to drive them slow. I'm guessing this is going to be like in the yard whenever you're shunting. So it's going to be very interesting. And in terms of other stuff, there's also some new freight cars. Apparently we're getting brand new HAA coal hoppers and upgraded HEAs, which includes a new livery and enhanced weathering. And this is going to be interesting because they also tease us in the ticket thing. So we got tackle the challenge of running merry-go-round coal trains from pit to power station, and as well has the most intensive and varied timetable to date. Now, I will admit I have no idea what merry-go-round coal trains are, but I guess it's gonna be featured in this route. So you know what? I'll be looking forward to checking it out and seeing how it works. So yeah. So it doesn't look like because I will admit the West Coast Main Line Preston Carlisle route, as cool as that route was, there wasn't really much you could do besides, well, drive from Preston to Carlisle. They did also have like a little branch line that went to, I forget where, but it was such a short branch line though. This route though seems like it's not just gonna be the West Coast Main Line, but it's gonna have a lot more stuff to do besides that. So this route looks like it's gonna pack a very big punch. So you know what? I'm looking forward to this one as well. I think there's gonna be a very interesting route with a lot of stuff to do. So yeah, very much looking forward to checking it out. So yeah, we're getting a lot of crew in this thing. Yeah, so isn't that funny? Because we got crew. Actually, oh my goodness, something else I just realized. Yeah, so we got crew. Firstly, way back in 2022 with the release of the Spirit of Steam route, we got crew as it was back in 1958. But now we're also getting crew as it was in 1986 with the Just Trains Crew to Preston route, and we're also getting crew as it is in 2019 with the Birmingham to Crew route. So yeah, a lot of crew. So yeah, they even mentioned, hey, maybe we should invent time travel in Train Sim World. And yeah, we do have time travel because now we have crew station, one station, but set in 3 different eras. So yeah, a lot of crew with this thing. So if you're a big fan of crew, this is basically your wet dream. So there you go. Not sure if that joke was appropriate, but whatever. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of crew, and oh yeah, something else worth mentioning as well was that, as you know, the initial crew to Liverpool route, Spirit of Steam, did have the West Coast Main Line. And actually, yeah, now a section of that route is actually back here in Transworld, but of course based in 1986 instead. Although, of course, rather than branch off to Liverpool, we're second to be going straight up to Preston. So yeah, that's make for a very interesting experience. So yeah, more West Coast Main Line content. I cannot complain though because I love the West Coast Main Line and happy to get even more West Coast Main Line content. So yeah, actually, it is now pendingly possible to do a route from Birmingham all the way up to Preston now in Train Sim World. So you could go, I guess, I know they like to talk a lot about Birmingham, but what you could do is you could take the Class 86, start at Birmingham, then go up to Crew, and then time travel back to 1980s, go from Crew to Preston, and then go from Preston to Carlisle. So that would actually be very, you know what, I think I might even do that. Maybe I'll do a live stream on that. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, lots of crew and a lot of Mainlandisms happening out in Train Sim World. Very much looking forward to that. Alrighty then. Alrighty then, but now we head over to Germany. Yeah, we got some German content to talk about. And first of which, we have a dovetail route in Germany, which is the Stuttgart to Heilbronn route. Yes. So this is a 2000s era German route, which is very windy and stuff. Apparently, it's also an extremely busy route with big freight yards and fields. That'll be interesting. In terms of new rolling stock, we get the DBBR 140, which is a very old locomotive, so we got that coming. And coming with it is also the Hamburger Stir Wagon coaches. So yeah, so we got those coming to look forward to. And yeah, screenshots of those. So if you want to take a look at what those actually look like, then you can look at the roadmap article stream. Yeah. Now, this is another German route though that I'll be honest, isn't the most special thing in the world. It kind of exists, but it's route nonetheless. So we got that coming. Although I did put in my notes here, this could be another it exists route because. More recently, though, Dovetail have been making like a couple of German routes that I would just say exist. Like, they don't really bring anything new to the table, but they exist. Because over in back in Trains World 4, they came out with the what was it, Rosenheim to Salzburg route. Yeah, they came out with that route for Trains World 4, and yep, that route definitely exists. I only introduced the BR 111111111 locomotive, but that was it. Otherwise, there was nothing new to the route. So yeah, yeah, it was basically a route that they just made, and even the route itself was just very unremarkable. There was just nothing to it. So yeah, you said it exists route, and I've only driven that route twice, and yeah. But then, of course, a year later, they then came in with the Bond route from not Hamburg, from Mannheim to Kaiserslautern route. They came out with that route this year actually, and that route was actually even more it exists because that route came with no new trains whatsoever, and it was just so yeah. At least this route though does come with something new. We get the 140, which is a new look. Whatever, we get the Hamburger Stirrer coaches. I know that's not what they're called, but I'm gonna call them that anyway because I can't speak German to save my life. But yeah, you get the 140 is a real engine with some Hamburger coaches. And if you want to take a look at those, like I said, screenshots exist. So yeah. So at least it's better than Pflichtblatt because at least there's a new train. But what will the route itself be like? We will have to see. But since it's a 0-3 month category, we may not even have to wait that long. So yeah, we'll see how things turn out pretty soon. So there you go. Anyway, more German stuff. Whoa, now we have a, not a new route, but a new locomotive from Train Sim Germany, and this is the Expert DBR 145. So yeah, we have a new Expert locomotive, our second ever Expert locomotive, and yes, these are the same guys who made the Expert BR 101 locomotive, so yeah, this is going to be their second Expert locomotive. This time though, it's not going to be an enhancement of locomotive they already had in the game. This is going to be a completely brand new locomotive, a locomotive they've never had in the game. Okay, to be fair, it is similar to some stuff they've already had. Although according to Dovetail, it actually isn't, because this is not part of the Track Series locomotive. This is part of some other series of locomotives that I forget the name of. They said it in the roadmap stream, but I forget what it was, but there you go. And it's probably going to be in the Deutsche Bahn as well as the RXB livery, okay. Also, new expert level features such as manual brake hose operation with working angle cocks. No idea what that means, but I guess we'll find out. And also comes with this pack is new T3000E container wagons, and also this will also have additional gameplay content for the upcoming Dresden to Leipzig route. So yeah, yeah, not much more to say than that though. It's the 145. I'm not even sure if I've ever even driven this thing before. So, but there you go, 145. Expert version also coming to Train Sim World 6. Alright then. So then, now we are going to take a look at some stuff of which was not newly announced, but some stuff that they decided to talk about in the roadmap part 2 from just today, actually. So first up, we have the BR420 from Train Sim Germany, which has been in purgatory for a really long time now. In fact, Andrew actually confirmed that they've been talking about this thing since as far back as Train Sim World 2. So yeah, this thing has been in development for a really, really long time, but it looks like now that this train is finally on the home stretch and will be coming out very soon. As they revealed some new screenshots in this one by article, those confirm that there's going to be 5 different versions of this train, including the orange livery, so that'll be interesting. There's also gonna be more gameplay content than anticipated, I guess. And I just talked about the Stuttgart to Hellborn route. This train will also be featured in that route. I also noticed there's also gonna be some gameplay over in the Mystical Blends route, and there's also gonna be some other stuff. If you want to know more about like what's this train's gonna do in Transit World, and you can read it in the roadmap article, because they confirm all the stuff there. So yeah. So yeah, Beer 420. It's funny. Actually, Andrew actually noticed this in the roadmap that they actually showed a couple days ago at the end of the Delta direction. Was like, this train's never come to Train Sim World. Well, according to Delta now, and even Train Sim Germany, this train's on the home stretch and will be coming out very soon. So yeah, I think this is also Andre's favorite train ever. So maybe I gotta tell him, like, say, hey, the BR 420 is actually not as far off as you think. So yeah, we will see how that turns out. Another new train that was also talked about in the roadmap is the Transport for Wales Class 142 Pacer from Just Trains. This is another thing that we've known about for a little bit now. I forget when they revealed this. It was a roadmap that they revealed this in, but I forget which one it was. But yeah, a bit more content talking about the Class 142 Pacer from Just Trains. Some new screenshots as well. And this train comes with an upgraded cab with GSM radio, operational DRA, and TBWS, along with other functional enhancements as well. And this train is going to be for the Cardiff City network route. So they'll add some gameplay to that route. So, yeah. And it's funny, I was just talking about, announcements earlier in the Pacer, and yeah, this train is going to have custom created announcements spoken by a native Welshman as you have at the station. So, yeah. I guess we have a Welsh announcements in the 142 Transfer Pacer. That'll be interesting. Yeah, so I guess I'll be able to learn some Welsh or something. So that'll be interesting. This will also be coming as well with a new timetable for the Cardiff Network route, which will also be utilizing the River Games Class 170 gameplay pack, which came out only about a month ago as well. More specifically, it's going to be the cross country 170. I think that'll be showing up on the Cardiff route, which ironically, because I noticed that when driving the 170 on the Birmingham Cross Sea line, there was I noticed there was some services on Birmingham Cross Sea line with the 170 that went all the way to Cardiff, but of course there was no like timetable services or timetable layers for the 170 in the Cardiff route. But we're gonna be getting that route with this new timetable, courtesy of Just Trains with the 142 Pacer pack. So I'm very much looking forward to taking a look at that. So yeah. And if you want to learn about more info to do with the Transfer Rails 142 Pacer, there's more info in the roadmap article. So yeah. And yeah, Hobie says better than your Welsh. Well, fine. There you go. My Welsh is very bad. And I'm not speaking any Welsh right now because it's going to sound terrible. Alrighty then, well now we move over to America because we have some stuff from High Iron Simulations. Now this is something that I've talked about in some previous videos I've done actually on Train Sim World. I mentioned multiple times how I was going to do a video where I play the Santa Fe gameplay pack on the Con Pass route because that's the last of the American free routes that I actually get to do a video on. And yep, they have said that the Santa Fe gameplay pack is going to be coming up very soon. However, there was actually some stuff announced on the High Iron Simulations Facebook page. This actually is not featured in any of the articles or roadmaps or anything like that. This is something that you can only find on the High Iron Simulations Facebook page. And apparently, High Iron Simulations is developing a new US freight route, which according to them is rapidly progressing in development. So, yeah, for the first time in a good few years now, we're going to be getting a US freight route. So, yeah, again, it's been a while because we last got a free route with the Con Pass, which came out a good few years ago now with Transport 3. And here we are now. I guess we're finally going to be getting a new US free route, although not courtesy of Delta or Skyhook. No, we're going to be getting a US free route from High Iron Simulations. And I will say this, I do have a bit more hope for this one because High Iron Simulations is an American-based developer. So, yeah, I will be very interested to see what this US free route is whenever they revealed it. Apparently, it's rapidly progressing in development, so we'll see how long until it appears on the official roadmap. And, yeah, I'll be interested to see what the route is. Although, I will say this, though. Some of High Iron Simulations stuff, though, for Transformation Classic, though, is rather bad. So, we're going to see how their developmentisms translate over to Train Sim World. So, I guess our Santa Fe Game Pack is going to be our first look into that. So, yeah. Even Santa Fe Game Pack isn't much new because Santa Fe Game Pack is just 2 trains that we already had in the game. But, like, reskinned and enhanced, I guess. And it's also on a route that's also, you know, there. And they're just making a new timetable for it. There's going to be some new rolling stock, though, in the Santa Fe Game Pack, though. So, we'll see how that turns out. And, but yeah. And something else that was also confirmed on the High Iron Simulations Facebook page was that a new local project is also underway. So, yeah, I guess not only will we be getting a new free route from Higher Simulations, plus a new loco from Higher Simulations. So that'll be very interesting. Which I actually do welcome though, because to be fair, we haven't gotten much American stuff lately, and I think that's mainly because, again, Skyhawk did try their hand at 2 American routes, but other than that, it's all been Dovetail creating American stuff for Train Sim World, and don't get me wrong, Dovetail have been doing a good job with the more recent stuff like the MBTA Worcester line as well as the San Bernardino line, and I'm sure the Morristown line will also be very good. But it would be nice to have even more than that though, and I'm hoping that Higher Simulations will eventually be able to blossom, and we'll eventually be able to get more US content for Train Sim World. So yeah. So we'll see how that goes as time goes along. So there you go. Alrighty then. So moving on, off to Grump Dog Games. This is a developer that came up recently. Although this is actually a dev studio led by Liam, DTG Liam, who they've shouted out multiple times actually recently. In fact, this was actually the person who actually created the West Somerset Railway remaster, and is also developing the West Express remaster, which I guess is going to come out before the end of the year, so I'll get into that. And actually, they also announced this on the previous roadmap. There's going to be an HST farewell pack. It was basically add a bunch of new liveries for the GWR HST. So HST farewell pack comes with multiple liveries. So if you actually want to know what those liveries are, you can look at those in the roadmap article. And in this gameplay pack, they also have added toilet flushing sounds on the Mach 3 coaches. So yeah. Yeah, so I guess if you ride on the Mach 3 coach or Mach 3 coaches, you're going to hear toilet flushing sounds, so that's something. And apparently there's looking to be a Mach 1 HD barrier coach for stock moves, so I'm guessing it's going to be for, like, if you're in, like, doing, like, a service where you drive, like, the Class 47 or something, and I guess you move along the HST set. Okay, actually, that would be very interesting. Actually, it just came to me now. I was like, yeah, why is there a Mach 1 barrier coach? Well, I just realized it now. I guess, yeah, that's what it is, so... Yeah, so upcoming this stuff in this HT farewell pack, so I'll be interested to see how that turns out. And I just mentioned the West Express remaster, and was also mentioned in this roadmap, and they actually showed a before and after shot of the original West Express route and the upcoming remaster, so that'll be very interesting. And they did also say on the roadmap that these two are planned. Shut up, Ruby. These two things, the HC Farewell Pack and the Great West Express Remaster, they have said that these are planned to release before the end of the year. So I hope they do, because I haven't driven Great West Express in a long time, but that's only because this route is very old and quite dated. So I'm very much looking forward to the remaster, which will update the route to current standards and make it a lot more interesting. So yeah, I'm particularly looking forward to driving the upgraded HST, because... Again, I've avoided the GW HT for a while now because that train is also really old. So I will be very interested to see how that thing gets upgraded in this thing. Hopefully with new sounds, at least, with new like MTU sounds and stuff like that. So we'll see how that turns out then. They've also said from Grumdog Games that apparently work has also started on the next add-on. What that add-on is, they haven't said yet, but yeah, apparently Grumdog Games will also be working on the next add-on for Train Sim World, I guess. So yeah, got that coming then. Alrighty then. Alright, I've been filming now for, wow, almost 2 hours. Okay, just more than an hour. This is already longer than last stream. Wow, okay. Anyway, so what else is coming then? Well, before getting to what else they announced, I wanted to talk about some other things. So, Caltrain. This is something that's been a bit of a hot topic ever since Transport 6 was first announced. So we're like, hold up. So the Caltrain content has been delisted because of the lack of licensing that was going to happen to the Caltrain content. Well, they have now revealed it, and the Caltrain content will be coming to Transport 6, but it will be unbranded. So, yeah, so based off like the F40, the gallery coaches, as well as the MB30s with embodied bi-levels, and the shuntering engine, those will come to Transport 6, but they're all going to be unbranded, so it's going to be a bit weird not having the Caltrain logos on it. But I am going to just guess that there's going to be an inevitable branding patch, which the community will create for the PC version. So yeah, I think that we'll eventually have the Caltrain content back in Transport 6 exactly as it was before it was pulled from stores in Transport 5. So yeah. Alright then. What else is coming? Oh yeah, the Train Sim World editor. This is something that I have personally been... Okay, to be fair, more recent years, I've just kind of given up on this thing because I'm gonna be real with you right now. I have totally just given up now on the transport editor. I don't know. I don't really care for it anymore. I was really excited for this when this first was announced for Transport 4, but now at this point, I have no hope for this because it seems to me like the Transport editor is really more for like third-party developers to like have a better gateway into developing Transport content because previously, like, if a third-party developer wanted to develop content for Train Sim World, they would have to, like, tell Dovetail about it, so then Dovetail doesn't give them access to, like, the Transport editor. But then, of course, for Transport 4, they came up with the public editor, so now if third-party developers want to get into making content for Train Sim World, they can just download the PC editor and start using that. But I was personally looking forward to using the PC editor to make fictional routes for Train Sim World, like I've been doing on other Sims, but it's such a pain to use that I don't have any motivation, and not to mention the lack of documentation for this editor, even just the past couple years now it's been out. Yeah. So personally, I've given up on the Transport editor. But they did say there's gonna be some sort of mod manager coming for the Transport editor. But like, what's the point? I don't know. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe eventually stuff that will be bothered to get around to doing documentation stuff like that, but at this point I'm just waiting on the simulator to come out because hopefully that'll be easier to use. So yeah, got that then. So whatever. So we have 4 more add-ons to talk about, and then we will be done with this live stream, which is good for me because I'm almost out of breath. I'm about to pass out here because I'm talking so much. I'm gonna take one little quick pee though, just this final stretch here. All right. Come on. There we go. Alright, there we go. Tonight, throwing the ball in peas in a bucket because he can't be able to go to the bathroom. You know what? Now think about it, though, maybe it's a good thing that my webcam isn't working for the stream. Like I said, I was gonna try to get my webcam working, but maybe it's for the better that I'm just having this still image for this entire time, so it's just my voice. Alright, anyways, here we go then for the last 4 stuff I need to talk about in this stuff. And this is actually where things get really interesting. Because, well, 2 of the routes they announced for the ticket thing, well, you'll see. So they're just the things, there's just the items in the roadmap that are in the further down the track section. So first up is the Tadami line. Now, of course, the Tadami line was already announced quite a few years ago, actually. This is still I know this is still in the further down the track section, though, so in fact, I think all the routes that I'm about to go over, I don't think this will be coming soon, though. We'll see. I think at least one of these routes will come in Transport 6. Okay, let's just talk about it. Alright, first up, Tadami line, has been confirmed, at least by Dovetail, that it will be coming in Train Sim World 6, finally, because, to be fair, I've actually been quite looking forward to this route, ever since they announced it, by the way, back in Train Sim World 4, and yeah, it sounds to me like the Tadami line is finally coming. So yeah, our first Japanese route in Train Sim World, yep, about time. Yeah, so like I said, there are some new screenshots, and even I showed some gameplay actually in the Dovetail Direct stream. So yeah, if you want to see some more Tadami line related stuff, then well, the roadmap stream as well as the Dovetail Direct is your friend. So yep, so new stuff for Tadami line. Hopefully that's coming in Train Sim World 6. All right then. Well, it's funny we're on the topic of new countries because now we get to the really fun stuff. So, coming courtesy of a new third-party developer is our first ever Train Sim World. That's my mom talking. Okay, let's try that again. Coming soon, Train Sim World is the first ever route based in Czechia. Yes, we are getting a Czechia, Czech Republic route is coming in Train Sim World. More specifically, the route from Liberec to Stara Paka. Yes, we are getting a Czech route in Train Sim World, which I'm very much looking forward to because it's going to be an all new experience. Yes, a new country, new systems, new stuff. So yeah. So there you go. Czechia, Liberec to Stara Paka. So this route is coming courtesy of Vector Simulations, a developer I've never heard of, but apparently they are a Czech-based development studio, so hopefully they know what they're doing then. They probably will though, because typically the developers of the native countries do good at the stuff that they produce. So yeah. So Czechia, Liberec, Stara Paka, looks like coming from Vector Simulations. So this route is set in the year 2018, so I guess it gives you an idea of what kind of content we can expect. And they actually showed some screenshots as well. They didn't show anything in the Delta direction, but they did show a lot of screenshots actually in the roadmap that came out earlier today. So we're getting 2 new trains actually in this route. First up being the Class 843 diesel multiple unit. So yeah, you can look it up. The Class 843. Okay, take a look at it. You can also look at it in the roadmap article because they actually showed some very much looking complete screenshots of the Class 843 in Train Sim World. It's actually gonna be in 2 different liveries. Actually, it's gonna be in one like a red livery of some sort, and also even one like a blue livery. Okay, I don't really know anything about those liveries, but yeah, we're in the Class 843 in 2 different liveries. We're also getting a diesel locomotive, being the Class 750, also known as Googles. So yeah, because it has goggles, with an engine room. Yeah. They named the coffin. Yeah, that's the name for the Class 843. But yeah, Class 750 is being well nicknamed the goggles. And they just showed on the web stream that there is going to be an engine room in the 750. So that's a lot of detail. And it's going to be multiple different liveries as well. They actually showed off 3 different liveries for the 750 in the roadmap stream as well, the roadmap article. So yeah. So yeah, 2 new Czech trains are going to be coming in this route. This is a diesel route though, and the routes of this is a route that winds through the mountains with steep gradients. So it's going to be very interesting driving experience. And like I said, they have also shown some screenshots of the route. Actually, quite a lot of screenshots actually for this route actually. So, and it looks pretty complete as well. Like I would say the 843, 750, they both look very much finished. Now, this is in the further down the track section, but again, it looks complete. It looks almost complete to me. So I would still expect this to come out during the Train Sim World 6 release phase. So I'm hoping we might get this route, I would say either later this year or early next year or some point next year. I don't know. We'll see. But I do think this will come pretty soon. So, yeah. And on the whole, I would say I am definitely excited for this route because it's something new. We get the same old 3 countries, US, UK, Germany, and occasionally we get routes based in different countries. Like we got the Dutch route last year, which was pretty cool. Actually, the Dutch route came out this year, but you know what I mean? It's always cool though to get like a new country train some world, especially when the route is like very interesting. And this is definitely a very interesting route. I'm very much looking forward to checking this out. So yeah, Czechia, Liberec, Star Podcast. Looking forward to checking out this route when it comes out. But that's not all because we have another route in a new country. This one based in Portugal. Yeah, we're going to Portugal indeed, where they speak like yeah. So we're getting a route based in Portugal. More specifically, the Lisbon to Setúbal route. Yes, so a Portuguese route. This one is being developed by Virtual Via 360, a Portuguese-based developer. And we'll be getting only 1 new train this one, but a new train less. This is the Series 3500 double-decker EMU. They did also show this train on the roadmap as well, although it's a rather incomplete version. And they didn't actually show that many screenshots of this route. Yeah, I don't think this route is as far along in its development as, say, the Czechia route, so I'm not sure if we'll begin this route in the Train Sim World 6 era. We might, but if not, I would hope to see it in Train Sim World 7, but we'll see. We'll see, though. We'll see. Maybe it's further in development than we think. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. Like I said, we'll see how the Portuguese route progresses. But there'll also be some new safety systems, and apparently that's the one of the landmarks of the route is the 25D Abril Bridge. No idea what that is. So yeah, in fact, I actually don't know anything about these routes. Actually, the Czechia or the Portugal routes. I don't know anything about these routes, but either way, I will be very, very curious to check these out because again, something brand new. I quite like the Series 3500 double decker though because it's a double decker EMU, which as far as I don't think we've ever had a double decker EMU in Train Sim World, so that'll be very interesting. I've actually thought about actually risking into MBTA and driving on the Boston Province route, so I might give that a try. But yeah, like I said, we'll see if the Portugal route. I think the Czechia route will come out in Train Sim World 6 because again, the screenshots does show it is very far along in development. But for the Portugal route, not as far along. So again, we'll see if it comes out before Train Sim World 7 or not. But again, we'll see what happens. So yes, those are the 2 new countries. And now there's probably one more route you're expecting me to talk about. And now we're going to get onto it. So I've talked about 2 routes which are very far away and not very well known to me. But now we are going to talk about a route that is rather close to me and a route that I know to heart. You already know what this is the Northeast Corridor from New York and Grand Central Stamford. Yes, we're getting another section of the Northeast Corridor, 3rd one we've gotten. In addition to, of course, the New York Trenton and Boston Province routes, yeah, we're getting another Northeast Corridor route from New York Penn to Stamford, also including the line to Grand Central Terminal. So yes, we have another Northeast Corridor route. Yeah. So yeah, new Northeast Corridor route indeed. So yeah. So this was very interesting. I've actually been doing a lot of stuff for this route actually. So unfortunately there are no screenshots yet of this route. They do have like a map thing which shows like it does show the MA unit in real life. There's an MA thing. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, no screenshots yet for this route, but they do have a map of the route which shows you like a general, I guess, geography of the route, so you know like what kind of stations it's gonna be and blah blah blah, have all that stuff. It actually features two different branches. So it features the Northeast Corridor line, which comes out of New York Penn and goes over the Hell Gate Bridge, which you may remember from the original Northeast Corridor New York route, and I'll get into that in just a bit. But yeah, it features the line that goes over the Hell Gate Bridge. And it also has the branch that comes from Grand Central Terminal, which of course branches off that route from Woodlawn, if you know the Harlem Line route. Yeah, branches off at Woodlawn. And then it meets up with the Northeast Corridor at the New Rochelle station. And we'll also, this one also goes into Connecticut. So yeah, a new American state. Because of course we got the Boston and Provincetown, which of course covers Massachusetts and Rhode Island, my state. Of course we also got the Boston Worcester, which of course is entirely Massachusetts. And now we have this route, which takes place mostly in New York State, but once you get past, like, I forget where, past New Rochelle or something like that, this is when you get into the state of Connecticut. So, yeah, so all three of my neighboring states, well, my main state, as well as two of my neighboring states, are now all going to be trains and roads. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. And yeah, I've also alluded to earlier, but yes, we'll be getting a newer train with this one. They've already confirmed the Metro North M8 dual voltage electric multiple unit will be coming with this route. And it's funny, we've talked a lot about power changeovers. Well, guess what? The Metro M8 will have a power changeover section. That's right, you will have to change power at some point in this route because you will be starting out as third rail once you get to the Grand Central Terminal, and then around like the little line that connects with like the Harlem line to Northeast Corridor line, there will be a section on the route that you have to change over from third rail to overhead before you get to Northeast Corridor, and then you run overhead up to once you get to what I'm talking about. You run overhead, all the way up to Stamford, and that's where the route ends. And also vice versa, you start overhead in Stamford, then you go past New Rochelle, and then you go up like the line that connects those two lines, where you change back over to third rail, and then you do third rail all the way up to Grand Central Terminal to finish off the journey. So yeah, so finally a dual thing where we can actually where there will be a power changeover on the road. So that's very much that's very exciting indeed. So yes. I would also expect them to include the ACS64 with Ampli coach as well, because of course the ACS64 runs on the Northeast Corridor from New York to Stamford. So I'm guessing the ACS64 will be included with the Ampli coaches. This will actually make the third time that that's going to be featured in Train Smooth route. Previous times being Boston Province and New Trenton. So yeah, another route with the ACS64 with the Ampletes. And I also expect there to be a layer for the Estella Express train as well. They also said as well in the roadmap stream as well, there will also be layers on the Harlem line, also Harlem line / Hudson line as well, for the Metro North M7A and M3A EMUs, which of course come from the Harlem line. So this will later on as well. And there was also going to be local CSX freight, so I actually think that also might allude to the a CSX locomotive as well will be. Actually, I'm not sure. They haven't confirmed this yet. I'm not sure if it will be included with the route or if it's going to be like later from Sandpatch grade. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll see if it turns out. I think the S4-2 is in the what's it called, Sandpatch grade route. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to be included with this route or if it's going to be if it's going to be a layer. I think it should just be included though, but we'll see what they do. Yeah. Something else I was also thinking about was like, so again, I kind of already mentioned this earlier actually when I talked about the Morristown line. Again, way back in 2018, they came out with the Northeast Corridor New York route, which actually ran from New Rochelle to New York Penn, then on to Newark Airport. I actually thought they were going to be reusing the section from New York Penn to New Rochelle because they already made that section. I was expecting them to reuse that section for this route because, self-taught games, but no. Matt Pellis did actually say in the roadmap stream that section is actually really old. So for this route, it will be rebuilt from the ground up. So you know what? I will take that. So yeah, the Northeast Corridor section from New York Penn to New Rochelle is going to be redone from the ground up, and it's not going to be brought over from the original route. So yeah, so that's actually the entire Northeast Corridor section from New York Penn to Stamford will be all new. I think the only stuff that will be reused is the Harlem line route from Woodlawn to Grand Central, which to be fair, that route's a bit newer, but they did say that route will be upgraded to be up to the same standard as this route. So yeah. They also said they also mentioned as well in the roadmap stream. Apparently, Grand Central Terminal is gonna be getting 2 different floors, which I actually had no idea about. But yeah, apparently Grand Central Terminal has 2 different floors. I'm not sure if they're talking about the Grand Central Madison Station or some other floor. I don't know about. I don't know about that actually. I don't know nothing about that. So I guess I'll have to look into that in real life and also see how they do it in Transom World. And of course, I'm gonna say though. Well, you may not know what I'm saying, but yeah, I feel like they should have definitely built this all the way up to New Haven because, in case you don't know, the full route that Metro North runs there is is actually it's the New Haven line, which runs all the way from New York Penn, which runs all the way from Grand Central Terminal all the way to New Haven Station. But also have the New Canaan branch line. Although I think the New Canaan line is actually, do services just run between Stamford and New Canaan, or is it all the way from New Canaan to Grand Central? I actually don't know. I should probably take the schedule for that. There's also some other line branches off as well. I think that was let me pull up the Metro North map. Actually, let me take a look at this. Here we go. MTA railroads. Oh yeah, they have the line to Waterbury. Or no, is that a diesel line? I just don't know. It might be a diesel line actually. I'm not too sure. I know the New Canaan branch is electrified, but I know they also have the Danbury branch, which branches off of something. Oh, look, that's only for the P32 cars or 2 cars, P42 and no P32 and Shoreliners as well. I think that might also be true for the Waterbury branch. I don't know actually much about that one, but I do just know that the route from Grand Central all the way to New Haven is electrified, and we should be able to drive the MA all the way that far, but we can't. But hey, I'll tell you what I can get. New York to Stamford, still a pretty solid route. I'll tell you it's New York and Grand Central to Stamford, so yeah, still a lot to do. And I'm very much looking forward to take a look as well with all the CSX freight and stuff as well. I'm curious to see how that's going to work out. So yeah, so what's with the fact that it's only goes for Stanford, I think it'll still be a very packed route, and I'm very much looking forward to checking it out when it comes out. And actually, since it's a northeastern route, I might even do a live stream on this route when it comes out. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And that's everything. That's all. We're done. That is it. That is all I wanted to cover. We are done. Nearly 2 hours. I've been talking now about all this. This is actually going on for way longer than last stream, which is insane. I thought this stream was actually be about the same length, but no, here we are. I have been yapping on now for almost 2 hours, and I'm out of breath. I am about ready to pass out and fall onto the floor, and my squeak's here because I'm leaning back in my chair. But that's all. That is everything. So there you go. Train Smooth 6. 3 core routes, new features coming, the deluxe locomotives, as well as a bunch of post-launch stuff is coming, as well as also been announced. And yeah, so I don't mention a lot about articles actually. I should have mentioned this to begin with, but yeah, if you look in the description of this live stream, you'll actually find there's actually links to actually both parts of the roadmap, so roadmap part number 1 and part 2 that came out recently. I've also linked the FAQ article as well, which will tell you everything you need to about Transport 6. If you want to know more about Transport 6, though, you also have the Delta Direct stream, which you can rewatch now. And you also have the roadmap stream, which happened just today as well. And also, I think I also did an article on launch day for the day of the Delta stream as well on August 26th. So yeah, a lot of stuff you can read up on if you want to learn even more about Transport 6. But that is all I'm going to share with you today, because that's all the stuff I'm interested in. And yeah, that's everything. Oh boy, a lot of stuff. Got this distraction as well, because I will be honest, my life is not in the best place right now, so I'm gonna have this distraction. And then, yep, I am definitely looking forward to checking out Transport 6. Like I said, on October 1st and 2nd, I'll be checking out the new base content. So that'll be the core routes as well as the deluxe locomotives as well, and two separate live streams. And I also plan on doing videos showing off the new features, things like the random events and the train failures. We'll also be showcased in a video as well, or 2 videos. We'll also be we'll showcase those 2 thingies. So there you go. But yeah, that's all I got. Yep. So anything else I need to talk about then? Well, not really, because like I said, that's all I want to talk about for Transport 6. So. Not a lot of people in the chat, so I'm probably starting to hear now, because I am very much out of breath now from yapping on. That's for nearly 2 hours. That is insane, but yep. Okay, nothing from Hoobie, and there's only one person watching, so yeah. I guess if you have any more questions for me, then leave them in the comment section down below. In terms of the future live streams, though, I'm only planning on doing those 2 live streams for Training School 6. I'm not sure if I'm going to do any other live streams this year in 2025 because, again, my life is not in the best place right now. I'm still trying to find ways to make money online. And I do have a method that's currently ongoing, but so far hasn't netted me any results. So we're going to have to see how that pans out. You know, see if it eventually gives me any results or if I'm going to have to change my focus or something else. I don't know. We'll see what happens then over the month of September. So, yeah. I think that's all to say. Again, if you have any more questions you want to ask me personally or ask me about Training Sim World, then, like I said, ask me in the comments. Otherwise, if you want to take a look at stuff, then, like I said, all the stuff is linked in down below. Like, take at the FAQ and part 1, part 2 of the roadmap, and you can also check out the Dovetail Direct and the roadmap stream on the official Training Sim World YouTube channel. So, yeah. Okay, well, I guess I'll have to talk about. So, yeah, I'm not running out at this point. So, yeah, that is everything. I hope you guys have enjoyed this live stream of me yapping on as long as I've yapped in a long while. So, yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this. If you, oh yeah, also there will be, in terms of videos, I should have said this as well. In terms of videos, there will be no gameplay video this weekend. This is basically gonna be your content for the week. So if you want to watch some new Frowny13 and stuff, then yeah, watch this live stream back and stuff. However, I do have a video planned for next week. It will actually be another Training Sim World 5 video. I'm planning that for next week, and I also have one more Training Sim World 5 video coming after that, and then we will go into Training Sim World 6. As far as Training Sim World 3 stuff, I'm not sure when the next film that's going to be, but I do have some other stuff as well planned. Actually, saying that, I actually have some IRL videos planned, some real-life real fighting videos, which I actually recorded quite a few months ago, actually, but I'm not going to try to get around to uploading it, so, yeah, there you go. Alright, okay, for this time, hope you guys have enjoyed this live stream. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to go for a lie down now, and I will see you in whatever I make next.